Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam 8, 12, 13. Yena sammohita daitya payitas chamritang suraha tadrikshava ayata padang kautuhalam hinaha. My Lord, we have come here desiring to see that form of your lordship, which you showed to the demons to captivate them completely, and in this way enable the demigods to drink nectar. I am very eager to see that form. Shri Shukuvacha evam abhyartito Vishnur Bhagavan Shulapanina Prahasya Bhavagampiram Girisham Pratyapashata. Shukadeva Goswami said, when Lord Vishnu was thus requested by Lord Shiva, who carries a trident in his hand, he smiled with gravity and replied to Lord Shiva as follows. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is known as Yogeshwara, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Mystic yogis want to acquire some power by practicing the yoga system. But Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is known as the Supreme Lord of all mystic power. Lord Shiva wanted to see the Mohini Murti, which was captivating the entire world. And Lord Vishnu was gravely thinking of how to captivate Lord Shiva also. Therefore, the word Bhavagampiram is used here. The illusory material energy is represented by Durga Devi, who is the wife of Girish, or Lord Shiva. Durga Devi could not captivate Lord Shiva's mind, but now that Lord Shiva wanted to see Lord Vishnu's feminine form, Lord Vishnu, by his mystic power, would assume a form that would captivate even Lord Shiva. Therefore, Lord Vishnu was grave and at the same time was smiling. Om Jnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayham Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sehitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Lord Shiva has approached Lord Vishnu, and he said that I want to see this Mohini form, Yena, by which some Mohita Daitya, all the Daityas were completely bewildered. Some Mohita, Paitas, Chamratam, Sura, so that the Amrita from the churning of the ocean of milk was given to the demigods. Tad Dridrikshava Ayata Param Kotu Hina. So I've come here very eagerly, Dridrikshava, desiring to see that form. Sri Shukuvacha. So then, having been petitioned in this way by Lord Shiva, Shulapani, who holds a trident in his hand, Prahasya Bhavagambiram, Girisham Pratyabhashata. He answered Lord Shiva, Prahasya Bhavagambhira, with gravity. This is, in the Nectar of Devotion, it's also described that Krishna has that quality of being grave, which means, among other things, that no one can understand what he's thinking. When a person is grave, then we don't see that right away he's reacting and reacting. He's very thinking and thinking, so that we may not know what's on his mind. Gambhira means deeply, deep. Gambhir means, yes, deeply thinking. And prahasya at the same time, smiling. In the Bhagavad Gita, prahasya miva bharata. Krishna's smiling to see Arjuna bewildered. So here, smiling because he's thinking that I've captivated the demons. Now I can captivate Lord Shiva also. How will I do that? Yena sammohita daitya. The Mohini incarnation is that incarnation by whom everyone was bewildered. All the demons especially were bewildered. What is that beauty? That's feminine beauty. The feminine beauty. There's nothing quite as bewildering as that. In third canto, there's a statement to that effect. Let's see if we find it. Actually, give me a moment. I hadn't looked it up, but why not? In the teachings of Lord Kapil Dev says there's nothing that so bewilders and infatuates a man as much as the form of yes. Natatasya bhaven moho bandhas chanya prasangataha yoshit sangad yata pungso yata tat sangi sangataha. There's nothing. The infatuation and that's moha, and bondage, which accrue to a man from attachment to any other object, is not as complete as that resulting from attachment to a woman or to the fellowship of men who are fond of women. Then it said, there's quite the discussion here. Let's see. How in the next verse, Brahma was bewildered by the sight of his own daughter and pursued her. He took up the form of a stag, and she took the form of a deer. Amongst all kinds of living entities begotten by Brahma, namely men, demigods, and animals, none but the sage Narayan is immune to the attraction of Maya in the form of woman. Balam me pasya maya stri maya jayino disham ya karoti pada krantam pruvi drimpena kevalam. Just try to understand the mighty strength of my Maya in the shape of a woman, who by the mere movement of her eyebrows can keep even the greatest conquerors of the world under her grip. And we see that. The Prabhupada gives the example of Cleopatra, who was quite good at this, known for being charming. So such a Cleopatra could conquer a Mark Antony or a Caesar. Balam me pasya maya. Just see my mystic power. Balam me pasya astri maya, in the form of a woman. So this is the form by which the whole world is captivated. And Prabhupada gives the example that anything that they want to sell, you see there's some poster with a woman involved, because that attracts the attention of a man. If you look at these efforts that are being made now to have equal numbers of men and women employed, a company like IBM, for example, will have still very few women among the engineers and so on, but they balance it out in sales. So the sales force will have the women, because if a woman proposes that wouldn't this be better for your business, don't you think? Then the man is hearing that, the practical side of the proposal, but at the same time, his mind is fascinated by the girl. That's how things work. So the women are attractive. They're endowed with everything has some sort of power in this world. A rose has power, the clouds have power, everything has power. And women have power. The powerful women attract this way, that way, by their beauty, by their speech, by their so many different, by their movements, they attract the mind of a man, and the man becomes bewildered. Mohita. Mohita nabijanati. They become bewildered. So this is and here Lord Kapila says that nothing else is quite as bewildering as that. I may be wowed by an iPhone or this or that, but this is number one on the list. Nothing else is as infatuating as the form of a woman. Oh yeah, it isn't the person. If a person goes to purchase something, the advertisements are full of pictures of women. The physiological attraction for women is very great, and therefore people are very slack in spiritual understanding. The Vedic civilization, being based on spiritual understanding, arranges association with women very cautiously. Out of the four social divisions, the members of the first order, namely Brahmacharya, the third order, Vanaprastha, and the fourth order, Sannyas, are strictly prohibited from female association. Only in one order, householder, is there license to mix with women under restricted conditions. In other words, attraction for women's association is the cause of the material conditional life. And anyone interested in being freed from this conditional life must detach himself from the association of women. So that's how it's set up by the material energy, that a man will be attracted by a woman and forget about spiritual realization. When man becomes overwhelmed by the beauty of a woman, he simply wants sense enjoyment. And everything else, everything else, not only spiritual realization, even material common sense drops to the side. People become, as the previous verse says, Yoshit Prida Mrigeshuja, become like dancing dogs in the hands of a woman. I've mentioned before, there was quite a number of years back, some senator from a Midwestern state, older man, married, and his whole career went out the window when it was disclosed that he was attached to some naked dancer, cabaret dancer, and following her around for prostitution. What was he getting? What was the big attraction? But everything lost, his respectability, his career, everything. Just for the association of a low-class prostitute. So this is the power of the material energy. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam. This was seen by Vyasadeva in the first canto. It's described that Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranahite Male Apashat Purusham Purnam Mayam Shatadapashrayam. Vyasadeva sat in trance for meditation, and in the perfection of trance, he was able to see the personality of Godhead along with his external energy, which was under the Lord's full control. Everyone is controlled by the form of woman, except the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not attracted by any material form. That was demonstrated by the sage Narayan. He was performing tapasya. And as usual, when some sage is performing tapasya, Indra becomes nervous that this sage this sadhu tapasvi may become so powerful that he'll take my place. So Indra typically tries to break the meditation of such sages by sending some agent from Indraloka, some apsara, some beautiful angel, some angelic looking woman, attractive woman. So there was some women like that sent by Indra to attract Narayan Rishi. And they were, dancing or what have you before him to attract him by their beautiful movements. But he began expanding more women from his own body and more beautiful. So then the women sent by Indra were frustrated. We can't get this sage. He's got it all within himself. So the Prabhupada quoted the expression that the sweet maker has no taste for sweetmeats. We go by a sweet shop, especially one of the really good sweet shops, and we become attracted that they've got whatever the particular sweet is, rubbery or some papri or chum chum or what have you. And we circle around the shop, we look and then we kind of look away and then we look again because the sweets are so attractive. But the sweet makers are sitting there all day and they're not attracted at all. They just turn them out. But the children and others who pass by, they're so attracted. So everyone's attracted by the external energy of the Lord, and especially by the form of woman. But Narayan Rishi wasn't attracted because everything is within himself. So Vyasadeva saw the personality of Godhead in this way, along with his external energy, which was under his full control. And what is that external energy? Yaya sammohito jiva, atmanam shrigunatmakam. It's the energy by which the living entities are all bewildered. And therefore, although the living entity is transcendental to the three modes of nature, he thinks himself a product of material nature. This is common. Everyone thinks, I'm this body. Everyone is thinking, I'm American, I'm African, I'm man, I'm woman, I'm this, I'm that. And even the great scientists are bewildered. Even the demigods, Muyanti Yatsurya, they're bewildered. And the scientists are bewildered. The ordinary man just thinks himself without really delving deep into the matter. He just understands himself to be part of the material world, this family, this country, this nation. He identifies with his body. But the scientist makes an intellectual campaign about it, that the living entity is nothing but a product of material interactions. And there's so many theories and theoretical explanations to push this. But what is it? It's Maya. So for the ordinary person, it's simple Maya. And for the scientist, the philosopher, it's sophisticated Maya. It becomes a matter of intellectual discussion. But the same principle is there, that he's so much identifies with the material energy. So, how is it possible? By the power of Maya. Daiviyesha Gunamayi. Mama Maya Durajaya. Empowered by the personality of Godhead, the Maya bewilders everyone. And sammohita means completely bewildered. Sammohita. Of course, the Goswamis, they're described also as sammohita. Anandena sammohita. But they were bewildered by the spiritual energy. Bewildered means enchanted, absorbed. The Goswamis were Goshantavati Sarvato Brajapure, Kedar Mahavyuvila. They were overwhelmed by Krishna consciousness. So they were enchanted by Krishna. And the materialists are enchanted by Maya, and especially by sexual attraction. And as a result, Yaya samohita jiva atmanam triguratmaka atmakam para api manute anartam. Manute, Prabhupada, it's nice in the word for word meaning. Prabhupada takes it that the living entity takes it for granted that he's a product of material nature. Para api, although he's transcendental. Manute, think, but he takes it for granted that he just, without even, it's not even a matter to be questioned. Yeah, of course, we're part of this material world. Of course, we're products of the material energy. So, yaya, sammohita viva. The living entity is bewildered in this way. So, Lord Vishnu was thinking about bewildering Lord Shiva. The Lord Shiva has mystic power also, but Lord Vishnu is the supreme in all such powers. And therefore, he was thinking very gravely, all right, how will we captivate Lord Shiva? Essentially, or he knew actually how he would do it, therefore smiling. You're asking for it. You want to see this beautiful form by which the demons were bewildered. Maybe you think you won't be bewildered, but we have news for you. This form is so captivating that you'll also be bewildered, even though you couldn't be bewildered by Parvati. That history is there in the Kumar Sambhava, Kalidasa's play, how the demigods needed to get a son who would, they needed a commander for their army. So they needed to get a son begotten by Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva was in meditation, so where's the question of getting a son? So then the plan was made that they would have Parvati, the young girl, attract Lord Shiva for sex. So the Parvati approached Lord Shiva. He was in meditation. And she began worshiping the genitals of Lord Shiva, flowers, and this or that way. Then Lord Shiva still wasn't attracted. He didn't become lusty. He's such a great yogi that he couldn't be attracted. Of course, he became angry, and therefore he burnt Cupid to ashes. That's also there. But he couldn't be attracted. But now, when Lord Vishnu takes the apparent form of a woman, that form will be so intoxicating that even Lord Shiva will be bewildered. And that we'll see in the course of the narration. Now let's see, there's some questions, quite a number of them actually, or comments. What is the cause of material bondage for a woman? Can this be applied reversely? Well, yes, of course, the woman, that's also described by Lord Kapildev a few verses later, that just as woman is Maya for the man is Maya for the woman. The man supplies security, home, ornaments, children, all of that. So he becomes the source of bewilderment in that way. According to the scholars on such matters, the men and women are not attracted the same way. Man is super attracted by the form of the woman. Every aspect of her form is like, whoa. The eyebrows, the eyes, the this, the that, everything is the subject matter for meditation and bewilderment. The whole form is intoxicating. And therefore you have naked pictures, strip clubs, all of this kind of stuff, or just, your provocative pictures and advertisements and so on, because the form is just knocks out a man's intelligence. For women, it's not as much the form. Therefore, you don't see pictures of naked men being sold to women in magazines of naked men. Doesn't have the same effect. But the thought of the relationship with the man, the love, the protection, the strength, the stuff, his money and his status and all the things that he can provide. So the women are attracted by such things, and of course by sex. So yes, the woman is Maya for the man, and man is Maya for the women, although it works somewhat differently in the details. So it's attraction to the opposite sex is the general principle, but there's a particular feature of the attraction. The form is so attractive to the man. Tina says women are 9 times more lustful than men. Lust is not just sex, but to material things. look at women today as so lustful for handbags, shoes, clothes, makeup, jewelry, etc., etc. But perhaps the biggest material bondage for women are to maybe family and home. Yes, these things, that's stated by Lord Kapila. The woman is bewildered. I think I closed the window for that, but the woman is attracted to the man who provides family, children, home, furniture, Gucci handbags, and so on and so on and so on. Well, and Krishna even is attracted by Radharani. That's the prototypical attraction. But Radharani is not different from Krishna. In the material world, all of this attraction is to the bag of mucus, bile, and air made up to look good. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, even by the seeing like a mannequin, the form of a woman in like you might see in a store window, my mind becomes bewildered. That's how powerful it is. Just seeing a false form of a woman, the mind becomes bewildered. But of course, all the forms are, Prabhupada said, if you just like strip off the skin, which is, a couple of, I don't know how much you measure it in centimeters, millimeters, but just peel off the skin and nothing looks good anymore. It's all disgusting. But with a little layer of skin on top and maybe add a little rouge and mascara, the form is so intoxicating. And even though we know that it will later, deteriorate, it will become an old, sagging form, but still we're so attracted. But on the spiritual platform, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, the forms are eternal. So the forms of Radha and Krishna are the original for this attraction. But that attraction is the opposite of the lusty business of this material world. These are all affairs of the pleasure potency experienced through devotional service and transcendental exchanges. So that's the real thing. And this is the false thing. But that person who expands the pleasure potency in the spiritual world will bewilder Lord Shiva by his appearance as Mohini Murti. All right, are there some questions?
Hi Krishna, thank you so much for such a crisp class. It's a taboo topic. Still hearing from someone like you who's advanced gives us the conviction to work on this important aspect of our lives. I know Adipurush Prabhu raised his hands. I also have a question. Uh, okay, Adipurush Prabhu, you can go first. I'll make your comment. I also have a question that I would like to ask.
I'll try to be brief. Mark, I've always wondered, it says Mahajanayana Gatasapani, we're supposed to follow in the footsteps of the great souls. So is this a kind of like, it's not an ordinary attraction, he's attracted to Krishna, right? Just like the gopis or Kubja were attracted to Krishna in what appears to be like a boy and a girl attraction, but is not. So isn't this a good thing for Lord Shiva? And should we follow in his footsteps and desire to see the Mohini Murti form?
Well, it will be good for Lord Shiva. Any interaction with Krishna will be good for anyone. So Lord Krishna is going to favor Lord Shiva. Actually, Lord Vishnu will favor Lord Shiva by humiliating him, as we'll see. So but yes, so it's good that way. But if we want to be attracted to the Mohini Murti, that's not so bad. But we follow in the footsteps of Lord Shiva by being attracted to some young chickadee, you know, some ordinary woman of this material world, which Lord Shiva is not. So that kind of following in the footsteps is not required. Apart from that, one has to follow the instructions of the Mahajans and not imitate them. The Lord Shiva also smokes ganja. He does all sorts of things that the powerful can do. Teji asamna doshaya. For the powerful, there's no fault in such things. But if we try to imitate, then it's very wrong. We should follow their instructions.
If we could drink the poison,
yeah, if we could drink the poison, then the ganja and whatever else would be all right. If we want to follow Lord Shiva, we should follow his example of how, what's the word? How immune practically he is to attraction for ordinary sex. That's the example that we can pick up. Dita, how he's sober. All right, Gaur Sharan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The question is slightly stemming from that Adipurush Prabhu was asking.
Your audio is intermittent. It's getting broken up.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Seems okay.
I'm sorry, Maharaj. There is something wrong with my laptop. What I wanted to ask is if Lord Shiva is attracted to Mohini, but it is not, he's not like condemned or anything like that. But the demons are also attracted to Mohini Murti. Is not like condemned or anything like that. Like he.
No. Lord Shiva is not condemned. After all, it's Krishna finally. You know, if someone's bewildered by a powerful display of Krishna's own incarnation like that, then no one can hold him at fault. No one can hold him at fault. Shiva won't be bewildered by an ordinary woman or even an extraordinary woman, but the form of the Lord appearing to be a woman. He's never actually a woman, but appearing to be a woman is such so enchanting that even Lord Shiva will be bewildered. Muyanti yat surya. Then why is the demons condemned? Because Kubja was attracted to Krishna but was purified. Why the demons didn't get purified? Well, one thing is that Kubja, she was attracted to Krishna for sense gratification, but she wanted to satisfy Krishna. She wanted to serve. She had, that's stated, that everyone can serve Krishna by their own occupation. So karmana tama bhyaksha siddhim vindati manava. So she had that occupation, so she wanted to satisfy Krishna. And at the same time, she wanted to satisfy her own desires. But the demons have no interest in satisfying Krishna. The demigods even have such mixed motives. They want to satisfy Krishna, their devotees, but they also have a strong interest in sense gratification. But they're still counted as devotees, maybe mixed, but devotees. Kama sarva kama va, tivrena bhakti yogena, yajeta, purusham param. But the demons, no, they have no interest in satisfying Krishna. that's off their agenda. They just want to satisfy themselves, therefore they're demons. Is that all right?
Seems like Krishna is engaging Lord Shiva so he can be instructive, so he can illustrate to us.
Yes, these pastimes will be enlightening for us.
Be careful.
And
be careful.
yeah.
Don't underestimate this. This is not dangerous. You will become bewildered and act foolishly.
Yes.
Careful.
Yes. And therefore Lord Shiva is not condemned because he's just being used as an example by Krishna.
How wonderful is Krishna?
I was waiting for that. Yes.
I try to squeeze it in there somewhere.
It always fits.
Okay, bottom line.
Okay, we're at 7:59 and we stop at 8.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll stop here then. Oh, 2 new messages. Wait. Let's see what they are. Thank you. Okay. Those were the new messages. Is it? Yes. Okay.
Radhanath Swami used to do the rainbow festivals, and when anyone's finished speaking, they say, "We love you." Don't forget that,
We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adi Purush Prabhu.
Glories to
Thank
Prabhupada.
you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I really appreciated your answer. I was always wondering about Kubja and about the demons. So it was really very nice answer, like how satisfying Krishna is the most crucial element there. And it makes sure, clarifies the concept of mixed devotion and why it is even demigods are like better than the demons, even though they both are fighting for the same nectar. Still, there is an element of satisfying Krishna with it. So it was really a very clarifying message.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. I see Arjun is there in the back of my screen. Obeisances to Arjun Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All right, how do you go?